Wyatt's like the best friend to have if you're like 20 or 40. It doesn't matter. He loves you no matter what. And if you're 40, you can live like through him. And if you're 20, you can learn from his mistakes. So it's great having Wyatt around. I remember a few years ago when Wyatt and I were kind of starting to hang out and stuff, he was at a place in his career where he could sell like 10 a day, I think was his average. I don't know, it was a lot. And he was trying to make the jump into a regional manager because he didn't like selling 10 a day. I think it was like, a little tired on him. And so when he kind of spent, I think, the off season trying to decide what he really wanted to do. But once he decided to go do that, I haven't seen anybody else in my career that once they decide to go do something, they go and do it better than everyone else. The year he sold 400 accounts, his first day, when he got up to market, he had declared he was going to sell 400. His first day he showed up to market, and guess what? There were no techs at all. He wasn't licensed, no, he was. Right? It was downpouring rain. Roads at 400 started with 0 techs and rain. He went and sold 4 that day. Okay? So that's the kind of person Wyatt is. He said, I'm going to be 5,000 accounts. He went and did that. I'm sure his next landmark's 8, 10, 20,000 accounts. Whatever he's going to do, you probably want to tie your ship to him because he's going to do it. Thanks, Wyatt.
Check. Put both of these microphones. All right. Stage open? No. Yes. I've, in 10 years of being at Levin, been asked to do this or a similar training to this probably more times than I want to. And I kind of get sick, I'll be honest, I get sick of saying the same thing, doing the same training. And I bet some of you guys that have been here a while probably get sick of hearing me say the same thing and do the same training. So I did my very best to do this one a little different. I grabbed, how do I change the things too, by the way? Where's the clicker? I did my best to try and change it up. It's, I have no idea how this is going to go. It's going to be kind of a weird layout. I don't know how to deliver it. But what I did, thank you, is I grabbed a couple of guys in our division. By the way, you guys need to understand, we have, in all of Levin, we have multiple of the, what do we have, 3 or 4 of the top 10 reps in all of Levin in our division. So we have in sync, let's clap for that. So we have some really, really impressive guys that we get to rub shoulders with and have extra access that a lot of the company doesn't. So I think you guys need to understand and take advantage of that, first of all. But I reached out to Alec Neese, I reached out to Kate Negro, and I reached out to Bridger Dalmore. All had incredible years. And I asked them all, like, I think it was 6 or 7 questions, okay? I just texted them. I also reached out, I'm good friends with Tristan Ferris. If you don't know, he was the top rep in all of it this year. So I added him into the mix. And then I also answered these questions myself. So what you're about to see is just my little case study. And it's like 7 questions that I think are good questions that a lot of you guys wouldn't think to ask. That's part of the issue, is you might even be able to grab somebody and say, hey, can I sit down, can I pick your brain? But I don't think you're asking the right questions. And I think as someone who's been there at the top, or whatever we want to define as that, right? And seeing it, I kind of understand from a different perspective of what questions should be asked, and then what answers should be delivered. Nobody knew each other's answers. Keep that in mind too. Nobody knew their answers. I also answered these questions before I got to see their answers, because I didn't want any biases in my own answers. But I was just curious how similar they would be. And so what you'll notice is some of these questions were all over the map, like 5 completely different answers, but there's some of them where it's like almost weird that nobody saw each other's answers first because of how similar they are, right? So, here's the numbers. This is the case study that you guys are about to see. So there's asterisks on Bridger Dalmore and Wyatt Levin's numbers simply because we're kind of a little bit older in the industry. And these are our best years. Might not have been last year, but these are best years. My best year happened to be before we did EFB. I know a lot of you guys like to tease me in my RMR, but did you see Josh's slide? I average RMR was $69 in 2018. My average RMR was 67. Okay, I was like right there. So when I did over 400 accounts at 60 some odd dollars, what I know that's like a 350 FP, but that nobody was doing it. So get off my ass. But yeah, so Bridger's best year is 365 FP. My best year is 410 FP. Tristan, Alec, and Kate, those were all EFP. So just understand that. But this is crazy. That's 5 guys for a combined 2280. Like we were in office. We almost beat Colorado Springs this year. 5 people. Do you think you can learn something from the mindsets of these 5 people? I would hope so, right? So pay close attention and stay with me. I know it's going to be a lot of like words up on the screen, and I'm basically just going to read some answers. Actually, if I could grab you 3, Bridger, Alec, and Kate, if you guys are here, can you come up here for a second? Just come sit right here, pass this microphone around. I'm going to maybe ask you to expand on some of these, maybe have you defend these. If you guys have questions and you like something triggers, raise your hand. Maybe we kind of do it like a little panel, but these are already asked, thought about, and answered questions. So this isn't really like, I don't want to make it too long and keep asking more questions than these. And you're not going to get the question, what is your pitch? I'm sorry. That's not included on there. Please, just, if you ever get to talk to a dog like this, don't ask him that. That's the dumbest question to ask. That is not going to get you anywhere, okay? So, here's question number 1. What do you feel that you do better than most reps? Even better than a 200 account rep. You guys are doing something that nobody else is doing, but what? Why? How? What are you doing? In your words, what do you think you do better? We'll start with Kate. Kate says, not giving up on a sell. 3-no rule. I feel like too many people get someone to the edge of the deal and they're not persistent enough to close them. So Kate feels that he's more persistent than any of you guys. I would agree. This kid does not take no for an answer, okay? So he's pushing people. Alvise. He says, I feel the difference between me and most of the reps throughout Vivid is 2 things essentially, staying positive and time management. It's funny you asked this question because I remember specifically talking with you and asking you, how is it that you sell 300 accounts? And the biggest thing that stood out to me that you mentioned was how you manage time. So this entire summer, my main focus was managing my time the best way I knew possible, I'm assuming. So I split my day up into 4 segments, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10. Each of these time slots I expected, it's a key word here, to have 1 sell. Even if I didn't, it doesn't matter what day, I was always selling. There was never a day where I didn't sell, even when I didn't have anything and was at 7 or 8 at night. Most reps would get drained out. I would always stick to it because there's always a deal. So staying positive is crucial when you're expecting to sell every single day. We have that night. Alec, you really never bageled all summer?
All summer?
The whole 100 and whatever days. That's incredible.
No.
Good stuff, man.
Thanks.
Louisiana, what up?
Louisiana. It's easy. Anyone with a pulse can sell there. I wanted to ask something else. We'll move on. All right, Bridger. Early deals, 130 to 430. This is what Bridger does better than the majority of you guys. Might sound dumb, but making sure you're on the doors early. Also, I think a lot of reps don't believe they can get early deals. So having that conviction. Lastly, knowing what early deals look like for me. For me, it's trucks in the driveway of retired people. Problem solving. Lots of people take an objection or situation and just accept it. I believe the best reps think, how can I come up with a good solution so this turns into a deal? We just moved in, figure out bills. We're just about to go out of town, we can install, we get back sports events. We need to talk to someone first, etc. Both of them come at the same time. Tristan Paris says, I'm focused, disciplined. Selling 200 is selling 2 per day, but selling 400 or 4 per day is double the work. It's got to be double focused, double disciplined, etc. That math does add up. That's profound. 200 is 2 a day. Okay, good job, Tristan. And then here's my answer. So my commitment to hitting my weekly goal. Nobody does this, and it drives me crazy. But if you set a goal and you're halfway through the week, you're behind on that goal. You cannot just hope for dumb luck to kick in. You've got to adjust your effort, not your goal. I'm working a full day starting Thursday. If I'm not at 9 by Wednesday night, that's how I make sure to hit 20 a week. You can have bad days, but you are not allowed to have bad weeks. Please write that down. If you guys can do this, it will change your summer. You can have bad days. It's okay. It's going to happen. It happens to everyone. Don't have a bad week. You can't. You cannot. If you're going to be a top producer, you got numbers to hit. You cannot have a bad week. To me, that's so important because of my momentum, right? So I'm willing to bet a lot of you guys. Just grab the mic if you have anything you want to chime in. But what happens? How do you feel Wednesday night when you are so far behind on your goal? Bridger.
Big Thursday.
Big Thursday?
Yeah, going out early. I have a rule, if I'm behind, so every single week, 10 is absolute minimum. If I'm not at 5 by Wednesday, I'm going out early Thursday. So
If you were in Bridger's office, did he do that?
no, I was never behind 5 on Wednesday. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Whatever your goal is, seriously, just pull out your phone. What's your goal? All right, how many do I have to do? Do I hit my 20? Got X amount of preseasons. I'm going to have to do 10 a week to hit my goal. Cut that shit in half. Maybe one less, okay? You're going to have a bigger Friday and Saturday. Take your number. If it's 6 a week, be at 2. Go out early if you're not at 2. If it's 10 a week, be at 4. Go out early if you're not at 4. If it's 20 a week, be at 9. Go out early if you're not at 9. And it's so simple, but people don't do it.
Wyatt, your, I mean, I think I know when you started. Did you start doing that consistently the year that you started?
No, I did that probably the year I broke 300.
Which was the year where you started out with 20, like 3 weeks in a row?
That was the year I did 400, yeah. I did 18 my first week out, 20 the following, and then 20 plus every week thereafter. Alright, let's go to the next question. A lot of reps can put up big numbers any given week. Very few do it for 20 straight weeks. What's the key to staying consistent? Here's Caden's answer. Accountability. I always hold myself accountable first. I give myself a minimum that I have to hit each week. Like when you came and we did the promise, even though I was sick half the week and I still sold 15. Kate, you want to tell the story?
Yeah, so Wyatt came into town, and he made us. It was honestly right before the cup.
Yeah.
And as an office as a whole, we kind of hit a down slope. We were doing like 97 and 100 in a week, and then we fell off to like 50 accounts, 40 accounts. It wasn't too good. Wyatt came into town and told us to all promise not only yourself but like each other. Like, I'm gonna do this no matter what. Not for myself, but we have like a hashtag FTB, and that's like for the boys. So like we're not doing it for us. We're doing it for the boys. We're doing it for the squad. And it was right in line with like Cup Season 2, which we just used that competition to kind of push us a little bit. But like Monday through Wednesday, I was sick as a dog. Well, actually Monday, Wyatt had already sold I think 3. I threw up like twice that day. I was gonna go home, but I was like, no. I saw Wyatt I think put up a 3-piece, and I was like, no, I can't bagel. So I went and sold 1 on Monday, and then sick Tuesday, Wednesday, and everybody made a promise. And if we didn't hit our promise, we had to do something, which I'm not gonna say. But
Good job.
I got the job done. Thursday through Saturday, I ended up selling 15. So kept my promise, not just for me, but for the boys.
Listen, because I always do this in my offices, but I had another category on the numbers board, and this is not your goal, it's your promise. And if you can't keep your promise to your team, like that's we got issues. We got to figure that out, right? So I texted Caden because he was sick. Left the doors early Monday, couldn't even knock Tuesday. I texted him, I was like, bro, imagine how cool this will be and how impactful this will be to your team. If you can still hit your promise the first week you did this and they saw you weren't on the doors for a day and a half. I was so proud of him. I think he had to drop 7 on Saturday to hit his promise, and he did it.
Yeah, and just to piggyback, the week after, we had our best week as an office. We did like 130 accounts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Took him momentum straight into a cup championship with an asterisk, right? Weekly commitment, no matter what. Break down your summer goal and what that is weekly. Never miss it. That simple. I mean, it's literally repeating myself on this one. Alec, desire versus expectation. A lot of reps desire to sell 10 a week or 20. They're willing to work. They're willing to put in the hours. The problem is that it's more of a hope than an expectation. When you expect something, you make it happen. You're telling yourself, There is no other option, no matter the obstacle that jumps in the way. You're hitting your goal. Consistency is not a thinking mentality, it is doing. It's either you're consistent or you aren't. There is no gray area. Alec, anything you want to expand on that?
Yeah, what's actually crazy about this is before going into the last summer, I talked to Matt Franklin, and he said if you're going to be a leader, you have to, sell a minimum of 10 each week. I'm like, okay, 10 each week was one of my best weeks last summer. I sold like 220. But I can do that. Like, I can do it. And it wasn't until I got out of the summer, as the second week, I sold 20 something. I was like, I can do that again. And it was more for my guys than anything. It was more for them. Because if I'm going to come home after a day and say the word bagel, I felt sick. I did. They believed in me and put in every single hour of every single day. So they expected more out of me, I expected more from them. It goes both ways, but if I'm coming home from the doors without selling anything, I wasn't doing the day right. So it's about winning the day, winning the morning, period, and I just got it done.
Love it. Bridger says, constant intensity. Treat every day like it's critical whether or not I hit my goal. Eliminate excuses, weather, Facebook page, too many vivids, not enough vivids, cancel his text, etc. Tristan Paris says, staying focused. When you start the summer, you make a goal, and the goal is based on you performing the same average for 20 weeks. Don't stop till you hit the goal. Everybody has personal problems. Your personal problems will still be there once the day is over. They're just a lot easier to handle when you've sold on the day. I kind of like that. We all share, right? I want to deal with my shit when I have sales on the board, not deal with my shit in a big one. I want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich. Somebody get it? What are your non-negotiables each day and each week? Okay, my biggest non-negotiable is leading from the front and ending every day or every week as number one in the office. Anyone ever beat you this summer? Ooh. I like me skipping through my morning routine, working all the hours. Oh, I think we had a little mix-up. Bridger Dalmore. No entertainment, TV shows, games in the morning. No matter what, I'm knocking my first door in my area or with a rep by 2 o'clock. I don't let any rep in my office beat me any given week. No matter what, I sell 1 a day, 10 a week, and 50 a month. Tristan, working all the hours. I have to be on the doors before 2, and I won't stop before 9. Absolutely no exceptions. No bageling. Bageling is a choice. I do believe this. Working all the hours, never let anyone in my office beat me. Do we see any similar answers here?
Work all the hours.
Work all the hours.
Number one in the office.
Don't let people beat you. There are some leaders in this room that are okay with people outperforming you. Why? I'm okay, being wrong. I love to debate. Can someone actually give me a real justification, a real reason? I want to lead someone that's like, it's okay if I don't beat everyone in my office every week because of this. There might be a reason out there. I'd like to debate you. Anybody?
I'm still busy training other reps.
You don't believe that. You 100% did this when you ran teams. I know, but I'm like, for real.
I would debate you on that you thinking that you're okay with being wrong.
That is. I'm not stubborn. No, I'm not. Shut up. Just kidding.
Hey, can on this topic plan, for all of you guys,
Chad, do you want to sit at the end?
no.
Just hop up here, dog.
Guys, I sell like 500 or 600, I can't remember, it was so long ago, in the summer, or a couple weeks or whatever. No, my question is, for you guys, if you legitimately feel like it's a non-negotiable, you get on the doors by 2 o'clock every day, or by whatever the time is, 1 o'clock or whatever it is, and do you feel like that's ever a difficult decision to make? Probably the opposite of, like, you get anxiety if it's getting close and you're not on the door, it's stressing you out, probably getting irritable.
I feel like, yeah, I'm the opposite. Like sometimes I want to
if I'm behind on my goals, like getting out there before 2 is the standard. Like if I'm behind on my goals, or like as an office, like you said, I get anxiety. Like I want to get out there before. Like I'm changing the 2 to 1, 1 to 12, whenever I have to.
So, I'm yelling, but I think this is so important if you are trying to up your game. Think about, I'm not saying, think about how you feel when it's time to go knock. I'm not calling anybody out, just like genuinely, think about how the way you feel when it's time to get on the doors. How you feel about getting out at 2 or 1 and compare it to what their answers are. Because this is not like I'm sitting in front of this crowd, so I'm gonna lie. Or this is BS. This is legit. It's exactly how I felt when I was running teams too. The way there is no such thing as I'm trying to motivate myself to get on the doors by 2. That doesn't exist in these situations. So if you do feel that, which a lot of people have to convince themselves to get out of the car, convince themselves to knock their first door. If you want to run a team or if you want to sell at a 400 account level, you've got to figure out how to get your mind to that. Whereas you're not convincing yourself, it's the opposite. You're intrinsically being motivated to get on the doors, but something else might be holding you back, like your car.
Shai, can I add something with that?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of reps, how many reps are like, oh, I feel burnout, I feel burnout. Man, this job is so difficult. The more you do this job and you create habits, like Shai's talking, like for me, it's a habit that at 2 p.m. I'm knocking a door. I've created so many habits of this job that my brain is not getting exhausted, and so then I can exert all my energy in high production selling. That's 100% what this job has become over 9 years. You just create habits that reap the rewards that you want.
And Bridger, you literally said one of the things you do better, that you feel like you do better than most, is you sell early deals. Not a chance in hell you're getting deals before 4, unless you're so determined to this 2 o'clock deadline, right?
Yeah, I mean that's value. So my office hates me. Like they all make fun of me. Like Bridger gets so paranoid at like 5 minutes past the meeting's supposed to end. I'm like, hey, let's go. And everyone hates that, but that's my most profitable time of the day. So I'm not gonna sacrifice that.
And the trickle effect of that too, of getting that early deal, having that momentum, going, your guys see you're on the board, they're like, holy shit, I'm still at the gas station, like my pre-game jump, right? Like Bridger's already got one. Brett's office, any of my offices, when I go visit them, like in these gas station stops, I'm the same way. Like, what are we doing? Like, get out of these freaking gas stations, let's go. But it's just like, think about this, guy. You're talking to the top guys in the company. And I asked them, what is one thing you just will not bend on? What is one thing? There's so many answers they could have gave you. Working all the hours. That sounds like such a basic answer, but why is that a basic answer? Why is that a cliche answer? Because you've heard it your whole career. How many of you are taking this serious? Our biggest, most valuable thing we have is our time. If you understand what your time is worth, I'm willing to bet these guys, they value their hour a lot more profitable than you do. There's no way I'm wasting that first hour. It's too valuable. And if they treat their time like that, and they're as efficient as they are, you guys might not be that as good as salesmen. So you think you can, take for granted that time? You need more of it. You need even more of that time than the 2 o'clock. It's just crazy. Just think about that. Let it sink in.
One more. I'm sorry I keep interjecting, but the other thing that's crazy, probably with all of you, how do you guys find yourselves indoors really late at night often? Like, are you guys not? How do you feel about knocking when it's cold?
No.
Past over?
But King is.
I know, right? I didn't. Bridger doesn't. We used to fight about it when he was in Montana.
I didn't knock the door after. Alabama was weird. After it.
I find that a lot of times these.
Shyster said, just come sit right here.
I'm
Get up
sorry.
here.
I find a lot of times these high
I don't want to run down there, but we need this mic. Just sit right there. Come on. No, sit down. You
I
part of this.
find that many times these highest performing guys, they're not knocking doors at 10 o'clock at night to get their accounts, like fresh doors. They hate knocking at night most of the time. I hated it. I didn't like doing it. I would do it, especially if I was lower than my goal. But I remember you and Matt and JC out in Montana I'm like, you guys were done way early with life. So I think that getting out early is so important and so valuable to you. Maybe that other side of it. You still knock till dark, but you're not probably hitting a lot of those at 10. Anyway.
True.
I'm just kidding.
Anything else you guys want to add?
Actually, I did. With knocking late, the nice thing about it with me is I don't actually really have to knock late at night because I have at least 5 or 6 callbacks that I go to. So it works out perfect. They're expecting me already. They know I'm coming. Whether it's a husband or a wife that I didn't catch earlier in the day, I always have someone I can go to at 9 o'clock at night. Louisiana is different because, man, there's some days where it's getting dark like 8:15. It's already pitch black. Sweet. I got 4 or 5 callbacks I go to. We're good. We're solid. And I'll at least be in each home 20, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, depends. But the nice thing about late deals is it doesn't really matter what time you leave because you're not going to knock later. You can stay as long as you want, as long as you get a deal.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on what I was saying, but like I didn't really knock doors at dark either. I would set a couple of appointments, but I wouldn't knock a door at dark to get inside. And my last customer of the day was always my favorite, and they always liked me the most because I spent the most time with them. I wasn't in a rush to get to the next house because if I did it 3 on the day, I'm not. If I knock on that door at 7:30, I will stay in that house until 10 o'clock as long as I get that deal. I don't care. I'm not in a rush at that point. So I'm building enough rapport with them. So I don't really have to knock a door at night, and I'll go and get in the house, and I just make sure I close it.
And that's great. We all have these strategies. I don't like to knock doors late either. But here's the point. The point is this, Alec. If you have no appointments that night, usually you do. There's got to be nights where your first day in the neighborhood didn't have a lot, and you probably sold 2 of the 3, 4 of the 5 people you talked to, and you didn't even have time to set an appointment that night. And it's 8:30 and you're already at 4 in the day, here's the difference. I guarantee you, as much as you don't like knocking doors at night, you still have 35, 45 minutes on the clock. You would, right? Because it's a non-negotiable. And that's the difference. Some of you guys are not doing that. A lot of you guys are not doing that, and that's why he's selling 400 and you're selling 100 in the same amount of days. That's the difference. Whoops. All right, so I guess these are going to all pop up at once, but it's a kind of a cliche thing, the morning routine question, right? And I think everyone lies. Every time you guys hear the podcast drop, when they're like, "What's your morning routine?" They're like, "I get up at 4:30 in the morning and I take a cold shower." Bullshit. Bullshit. They're lying. They might have done that for like a week. So that's why I asked the question the way I asked it. I'm like, yo, like, do you actually think this is important? How important? And if you do, like, what do you do? Here's some answers. Here's starting from Katie. My biggest morning routine is training my guys before our correlation. Not only does it help them, but it gets my brain flowing as well. When it comes time to knock the first door, I'm already in my groove. I don't want to call you out, but like anyone that worked with Katie extended or in Greensboro, did he do that? Did he train with you guys in the morning?
Yep.
Did he? All right, okay. Give it up for Katie. Katie is very selfless. The 452 is probably not even accurate. I think he actually sold like 470 because he was out helping guys on the doors and putting deals in with guys. I know I would do that every year too, is for an extended. So kudos there. And so you're telling us that your routine is like, I got to start training people just because I'm starting to think about it and talk about it, and that gets you moving.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I'm up, I might as well be productive, right? And like I know my guys, they always want help. And like a lot of when I say training, it's not like going over role plays and that kind of stuff. It's just talking about, I mean, it could be anything, like about the job, like what they're going through, just talking about anything relevant in the world. Because one, being caught up in that kind of stuff can help me on the doors. But like I said, I mean, I'm already, by the time I knock my first door, like everybody says the hardest door to knock is your first one. For me, I've already felt like I've knocked my first door when I go knock.
Kate's already sold 4 people. He's already closed like 4 lay down. Sounds right, no place. Alec, I personally can't focus during my day if I don't have certain things done or planned out. I feel so much better going into the day when I've done what I was supposed to do. Yes, I genuinely feel like morning routine plays a big role in having success in this job. Example given. Miracle Morning. How Levan didn't add miracle to the title of his book unless it actually had a deeper meaning to it. I believe at least 90% or more of successful people have a routine that they stick to and helps generate success. Alec, you didn't even answer my question, bro. So like, what's your routine? It's important. What is it?
Well, I have to hit the gym in the morning. That's a must. But it's like, I look at it this way. If you want to have a miracle day, you have to have a miracle morning. So you got to start your day out right in order to put on the deals that you want to put. So like for me, I felt when I didn't go to the gym, which were some days, yeah, I still sold, but I didn't feel my best self, or the best version of me. So like for me, my morning routine is simple. Yeah, it's wake up, go to the gym, make a healthy breakfast, whatever the case may be, but it's podcast, it's reading a book, just using your mind, like what Caden does. He role plays with his guys. You're doing something that's putting your mind in the right place where it needs to be before going out into the doors. That's always how it needs to be, period. Whether it's the gym, reading a book, a podcast, whatever the case may be, if you're a leader, you're going to have guys come your way, they're going to ask you for help. Please help them, because you're helping yourself too along the way.
Bridger, I think everyone's different. I don't think it's important of what or when your routine is, but it's important to have one. I prefer to wake up around 8, sweat right away, gym, run, spike ball, pickleball. For me, a few things are important in the morning. 1, make sure you don't feel rushed. 2, get things done you need to so you aren't thinking or worrying about them when you should be focused on the meeting or knocking. 3, get in the zone before the door, sales books, podcast, role plays, thinking about how you're going to start and attack your day. Anything you want to add to that, Bridger?
No.
Tristan says routine's important. Everybody is different, but being organized for your work is number 1. 2 biggest things, in my opinion, to have a successful work day is a good night's rest and a good lunch. Okay. And then I said I don't think it's as important as we harp on or people like to pretend. If you are in your groove and producing. If you aren't producing like you should be, it's a great place to start, just to set the tone of discipline. I just need to have enough time before the meeting to make sure I have everything done so that once the meeting starts, it's smooth sailing to the doors. You guys that are in management, please just be organized. And I've always said this, the easiest part of my day is knocking doors. Like that's when it's like, this is easy. All you gotta do is go do what I can do in autopilot. I hate all the stuff before, but I will never, ever, I guess I should have put this in my non-negotiable. I'll never deal with the administrative stuff, the emailing to approve stuff, giving guys, I don't do any of that stuff during the day, so that's my routine. It's just making sure those things are done. You guys need to just make that a habit, be organized. So many of you guys, I saw it with a lot of my own group, they're dropping guys off, and then before they can get on the doors, they're going back and handling the hotel issues and all the problems that could have been done before. So just have a routine, be disciplined. So what drives you to keep pushing your limits? What's your guys' why? Caden, that's when it's easy. Competition. Yeah, I love competing. Whether it's with someone else or even myself, constantly trying to beat my best week, beat my best day. I did 30 in a week for the first time and I was pumped. The next week I told myself I was going to beat it and I did 44. Let's clap for that. That's a baby. I saw that he did it and I was like, so many freaking laydowns. I was like, anyone could have done that.
No, I was with Wyatt. I was talking you up. I was like, dude, he gets 44. Wyatt was like, that's EFP, dude. It's probably like 13.
No, I was actually visiting their office that week, and it was cool just to see that side by side. Like, I was trying to keep pace with him, and he'd post, and I'd post a sell, and he'd post a sell, and I'd post a sell, and that was it for me. And then he'd post another one, and another one, and another one, and another, and it just kept going. And then we were like, damn, sick day, you dropped 6 today. It's 10 o'clock, and then you did another one. We're like, what do you, go home. Alec, my team, they expect me to sell every day, so there is no reason why I shouldn't expect the same for myself. Aww. That's awesome. Think about that if you were in Alec's office or if you worked with Alec. Like, his drive is you believe in him and you expect that from him. That's huge, right? Bridger, competition. I want to constantly be the best, and it's what motivates me. When I see other reps beating me or stretching limits, it motivates me to push more. How much did you like coming in number 3 this year? 4. Let's clap for that. That's a huge one. That's awesome. Think about that if you were in Alec's office or if you worked with Alec. Like, his drive is you believe in him and you expect that from him. That's huge, right? Bridger, competition. I want to constantly be the best, and it's what motivates me. When I see other reps beating me or stretching limits, it motivates me to push more. How much did you like coming in number 3 this year?
my guys I was gonna throw the trophy against the wall. Anyways, these guys made it tough. Like no competition. They were just out there, next level.
Me and Bridger have gone back and forth for a few years. It's been fun competing with him, and so I know that to be very true. Tristan, competing and money, I guess. This kid, how did he sell 650, huh? Competing and money, I guess. He literally sent this emoji too, and I was like, me, I love to compete. I've learned how to almost trick myself into believing it matters more than it probably does. I also love to progress and hit new limits, never celebrating for too long, but always asking what's next. So, what's the common theme here? Competition. These are some competitive mother effers. Some of you guys lose too damn easy. You do. Learn to trick yourself that it matters more than it does. I've said this a million times before, but like I think we all have this ability, just literally born with this ability to justify things. So many of us are so good at like talking ourselves out of pushing our limits because then it's easy, right? It's scary when you try to hold yourself accountable and you like no one wants to fail or come short. It's easier to not push, to accept a failure when you're like, I didn't really care to win anyway. That's easy. It's like bred in us. The dogs, they figured out how to flip that switch in the reverse to where it's like this competition means nothing. If I win it, nobody cares. I don't gain any extra real clout. There's no extra incentive. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit more money, but like all of us, it probably doesn't matter what it is. It could be pickleball, it could be Monopoly, it could be competing for socks. We just want to win just because we like to compete. And if you're not competitive, you are in the wrong industry. Stop losing so easy. Go compete.
Wyatt, I'm going to talk.
Cheyenne's about to tell everyone. Just
What
go
am I going to
ahead.
say? No, you know, we've talked about it.
No, literally, Cheyenne told me something this year. This is my first year not on the doors like all summer, and it was a mistake, and I can't wait for my back end because I'm gonna be pissed, and I might like go hard again next year. I don't know. I'm not coming to that anymore. Cheyenne said, I was like, dude, it's actually so weird. Like, I have a really hard time pushing. Like when I'm going out and visiting my teams and like going out the doors. He goes, yeah, dude, you don't have a good work ethic. You just are so freaking competitive. That's it. Like, you don't have a good work ethic. You just love to compete. Is that what you're saying?
No, but I didn't say something like that. But you're very competitive to your own expectations, all of you. That's why you get the anxiety. You're going on the doors. You have an expectation of what you're going to do on that day. You have that every day. Your competitive translates into competition for teams, but all of you and me, you have an expectation of who you are and what you think you should be doing. That is such an important motivator because it translates to you as a manager when you're competing as a team. It translates to you in your life, your expectations for where you are. If you can learn to be competitive with who you expect of yourself, like raise your expectation, you sell at this kind of level that these guys are. That's all.
Thank you. Anything else you guys want to add? This is my favorite question. This was the most interesting to me. And I actually really want you guys to digest this one. And you might be able to unlock into like what you lack to become a top producer. But what was your goal beginning of the summer? And if you were short of your goal, why? And if you passed your goal, why? My goal was to sell at least 400 and finish top 5 in the company. Mission accomplished. Give them a round of applause. Alec, my goal was 300 before the summer, and I even questioned myself on if I would even hit it. But I just focused on the little things throughout the course of the summer, and the numbers started to add up before I knew it. I was passing my own goal and had to readjust. Bridger, goal is always 300. Another goal I had every year was to beat the year before. Did we do it?
One other was, I wanted to be number 1 in the division. Reason I didn't, Caden Ingram.
Yeah. And Alec was.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bad.
So your goal was 300 and you you did what was it?
Hey,
350. Oh, okay. So, Caden's goal, 400. Oh, I didn't just say. Tristan, I exceeded my goal from the beginning of summer because I still had time left once I hit my original goal. I was focused and locked in until I hit it. Wyatt, my first year doing 300, my goal was 250. My first year doing 400, my goal was 350. I became so obsessed with staying on track and even wanting cushion that my averages ended up being higher than I needed. Caden's goal was to sell 400 and he sold 450. Alex's goal was to sell 300 and he sold 450. Bridger's goal was to sell 300 and he sold 350. Tristan didn't give me a number, but he exceeded his goal. I doubt he set a goal to sell 650. I doubt it. And my goal was always passed. Stand up if you had a clear, set, written goal this summer and you beat it. Stand up. Who beat it by the most? If you think you beat it by the most. What was your goal? What'd you do?
250, like 275.
Your goal was 250.
My goal was 250 and I hit 275.
Tyron. What was it? Goal was 250, hit 333. So that actually was more than I thought. There was more people than I thought. Because what I've seen way too many times is people start to adjust their goal and not their effort. But if you stood up, I'm willing to bet you had some pretty big numbers. You just heard, the few that I sampled were also over 250. The top producers are going beyond their goals. Why do you think that is? Because we know we need to hit these in increments. And we know that there's factors down here that we can't control and we can't see. And at least for me, I guess I don't want to speak for them, but for me, every year, I was like, dude, I'm going to have a week. I'm going to have a week or two, a month, I don't know. I could have someone at home get sick. I could have to fly home and see my parents before they pass away. I don't know. I've seen that firsthand. And so I don't know what the weather's going to be tomorrow. I don't know what my neighborhood's going to do. I don't know if one of my reps is going to be a knucklehead, get on the local news, and it's going to ruin this entire city for us. I don't know. Nobody does. Here's what I know. I'm in my hood, I'm selling, and I have momentum. I'm going to capitalize on it today, right now. Because I need to put these things in the bank so that when the shit hits the fan, I've got it. It's okay, I have a cushion. And I became so obsessed with making sure, even though my goal was 20, not to ever miss it, first of all. But there's weeks I'm doing 25 and 30 because I need these in the bank. And if you're constantly obsessed with not falling short of your goal, your average isn't your goal. All of a sudden, your average became more than your goal. And I don't even know if these guys realized they were doing that. But at what point, Alec, did you readjust? Was this June? Was this July? Was this August? When did you dude, I'm gonna smash 300?
Honestly, it was probably around when I was 250 and it was halfway through the summer.
Halfway.
I was like, yeah, maybe something needs to change.
You didn't realize that you had 2 months left to do 50 accounts. You hadn't done the math yet.
Yeah. And this was actually cool too, is when I did hit 300, I posted on my story, Wyatt swiped up, he said you can hit 400. I said, shoot, I don't know. That'd be cool. And so thanks to that, I actually ended up setting that as a goal, because it was 350. I was like, let's go for 4. I did the math, I needed 17 a week to go for 4, so let's do 4 before the summer ends.
Franco, we can work out an override on that one. No, that's
We'll talk.
That's so sick though. I'm gonna hit a goal. I have my goal broken down into weeks. I'm gonna hit these every week. I gotta go even harder. Why stop? Non-negotiables are keep going. And he just starts stacking these numbers up to the point where he's like 300. I'm gonna crush that.
You didn't set your goal for 400, and you didn't set your goal for 400 that year you did.
No.
And all of you
So it's funny that my first year doing, so 300 used to be 400, guys. Like my first year doing 300 was actually the first time in Adam's group that anyone ever did it, other than Adam, who kind of technically didn't even really do it. I always tease him, isn't that suck, dude? You'll never actually do 300 because you're like off the doors. You did like 290 something. But so everyone's like, 300, you're gonna hit it. You're gonna be the first one to hit it. This is like 2017, I don't know, 2016 maybe. I'm like, yeah, that's your goal. My goal's 250, dude. Like, I'm not. It's y'all's goal. Once I hit 250, and then I did extend it and then ended up doing 300. But like, it was crazy because I wasn't even really willing to commit to it. But I was so obsessed with not coming short that I ended up passing it. Maybe it was only profound to me, but I thought that was super interesting that every single person on this list passed their goal. And that's probably a pretty common theme, I would guess, of all of the top guys. It just goes back to the process of getting there, right? If your career depended on training a 300 account rep, we're almost done. I think there's like one more after this. If your career depended on training a 300 account rep this year, what would be your method to make sure you did that? It's kind of a good question, yeah? It's a cool question. Love this freaking kid. If I had to recruit a 300 account rep, I would just bring him on the first blitz and spend a lot of one-on-one time with him. This is literally the answer he gave me. And then I had to text him and say, can you give me more, bro? And then he goes, yeah, dude, just like recruit someone who's obsessed with winning. Caden doesn't get it yet, all right? He has a little bit of a twisted perspective on what this is all about because he just popped out 300 his rookie year and then was like, hey, big bro, I did it. You gonna let your little brother beat you? And he's like, nope. And then his big little brother came out and did it too. So Caden doesn't get that this isn't normal. We're just gonna let him slide. There's not a lot of help that we can get from him. Alex says first, actually we could go back, like recruit someone who's obsessed with winning. That there probably is some method to that. Let's go get some dogs. We got some dogs here, like blaze the trail for us, so let's step up what we think our dog is, right? These guys are lifting weights for us to where it's like, we have the top rookie we should all be, by the way, recruiting off of that. Like that shouldn't just be my region getting to brag about that. Every single one of you guys sitting down recruiting this year, the number one rookie in the company has come from our evolution group twice in a row. Where do you want to start your journey, right? Like that's something we all get to now have as part of our story. So let's clap for that. So Alex says, first I would encourage him to surround himself with other reps who are capable of hitting 300 accounts. Surround him with like-minded people at a 300 account rep. Act how a 300 account rep would act. The expectation is higher to sell 300 while your friends and peers are doing it. Facts. Bridger's been around for a while. He had a little more of an insightful answer for you guys, thank goodness. So here's his steps. Step 0. I like that he put that as step 0. Identify and know why the rep wants to hit 300 and set the goal. Why is that step 0, Bridger?
Honestly,
Did you mistype it? Did you just mistype it?
I was already at 3, and I didn't want to have to make more, it's kind of confusing. So
Dang it, dude. That is not that.
if anyone's done notes where you do the numbers, it gets kind of hard if you delete them all, so I had to make step 0.
Okay. So the real answer should have been because before you even get into this, you need to understand your why. That's good. Step 1, have them do 1 blitz a month. Step 2, make sure they have 40 sales before the summer starts. How many preseasons did you have? Just right now, this year. 50? 50 to 60, I don't know. It's the difference of a day, right?
You had 52.
52. 50, 60. I think my best 2 years of 400 was right around 40 preseason. So this sounds pretty spot on. Make that pretty simple. You want to do 300 this year? Like, you got to get some of that work done before the summer. And it's not even for the 40 sales. As much as like now you have to do 260, it's like you already have a rhythm. That's so important, right? The rhythm is it's already started. You don't get to 40 sales without a rhythm. Focus on getting early deals, so you teach them your strategy on how to find old people or trucks. Those were the two things. Emphasize, the importance of no bagels. Massive Mondays. 2 for sure, usually 3 to 4. What's the strategy? How do you get massive Mondays, Bridger?
Just deliberate effort. I think you're just focused, expectations, kind of like Shai was talking, and you just. I think the hardest I work is Mondays and from 1 to 4, just because I want big momentum. I don't want to have that monkey on my back that I'm behind pace, kind of like you were talking about. And so I think psychologically that's what it is I just want to be on pace. I'm at peak when I'm on pace, and so I want to have big Mondays.
So stop tricking yourself and telling yourself you have all week to make up for it. Your Mondays are so important. I fully agree with this too. Especially when I'm like, if I'm not at 9 by Wednesday night, I gotta go work a full day Thursday. I don't want to do that. So I'm pushing myself extra hard Monday through Wednesday to make sure I don't have to do that because I'm not going to if I have to. Big Saturdays, 4 minimum, and then again, 1 a day, 10 a week, 50 a month. See, the math doesn't even add up to 300, but why does that work? For him to say, I have to do at least 10 a week, and I'm gonna sell 300 accounts, because he's obsessed with hitting that 10, and he wants to have a bank because he knows that there could be things popping up down the line he's not aware of, so he just keeps going. Hopefully that's connecting to you guys. And then lastly, I'll pace the rep and I'll show them by example. This one's all over the place. Be honest, stay humble, don't be greedy, ask for referrals. Take it day by day, week by week, one sale at a time, don't think end result, focus on movement. In Tristan's defense, when I was texting him, this is last week when I was texting him, he was trying to text me his answers while driving home from market. He just left market last week. The dude had freaking 600 accounts and he pushed it till the last day it extended. So kudos to that. I'll give him that. But that's why these answers are kind of half-assed, because I think he was like driving and texting. Oh. I'll make sure they had a clear why. Similar to Bridger. I'll make sure they had 40 plus preseason accounts. Similar to Bridger. I would want them to work however many hours necessary to get 15 a week as early on in the summer as possible to taste blood and to know that it is possible. That one would be big. I think that's something you guys should understand. Like the whole mindset of I've got to figure out my market, I have all summer to make it up. As I did 18 my first week in the new market, the year I sold 400, that was the only way I could do it, is to start like that. So get rid of that mindset. Like I would probably have this person, if I'm like training them, and I'm like, we're gonna get you to 300, I promise you. Like maybe not week 1, but week 2 of the summer, I'd be like, bro, you have to hit 15 this week, like full days all week. I just need you to taste that. I need you to realize that it's possible. Just like when Alec was like, did that 20 and was like, whoa, that's what that feels like. I can do this. And he lifted his own lid. I would want my person that I'm training to taste that blood as quick as possible in the summer. Make a conscious effort this next year that you want to go out and hit a huge week. Whatever you got to do just to taste that blood. You're not going to have to go and work a full week or a full day every day for every week. Because once you taste it, once that confidence is there, you can ride that. But you got to taste it first. And then I would just hold their weekly commitment week in and week out. Just make sure they finish strong. August, by the way, guys, should be your best month. I don't know. Do you guys know what your best month was? August? August?
August.
You don't have to say, I don't. No. But that guys, I felt burned out on August too. Like, literally just was over it. How am I going to do this for another 4 or 5 weeks? But I love to compete. I leveraged the cup. And somehow, some way, my biggest month was always August. So just figure out a way to finish strong. Last question. question. It's my favorite, and I said that about a few of them, but I really actually think this one is true or false. If you can sell 100 accounts, you already have the skill set needed to sell 300. Explain. Okay, kind of true. I think you can sell 100 accounts by just working all the hours and wanting to get good at the job. I think if you can sell 200 accounts, you can sell 300. At that point, the skill is obviously there. Now it's work you put in and how hard you can fight the complacency. One more door, one more deal. The difference in a 200 or 300 account rep, according to King, is just literally the one more door complacency. Alec Meese says true. The only difference is time management. What you do throughout the day correlates on the doors. And when you're on the doors, you're doing nothing but knocking. It's all about the next house. That's the only thing on my mind during the course of my day. Who's next? I like that. Someone should coin that. Bridger. This one's tough. Skill set when it comes to door approach, how to close a deal, and everything in the job description. True, absolutely. Tristan Parrish. True. Still a lot of learning to do, but your time management on the doors will have to be better. Not wasting time on people who will not buy. Getting on the doors on time and working every day till dark. And then my answer is this is absolutely true. The skill set is there. Now what we need to figure out is better time management and how to ride the momentum. It looks like we all cheated off of each other's answers, honestly. But guys, I will fight and debate you till the death. I will always say that when you can sell 100 accounts, you're there. You've already figured it out. You are ready to sell 300. You don't need to learn anything better with pitch, better processing the close. I don't think you need to be any better at overcoming objections. You now need to learn how to manage your time better. And I'm not even talking about working on the hours. That's for sure part of it. But just where are your hours being utilized and how? And then also just understanding the momentum factor of once you have a deal, you're a little bit more confident, a little bit more efficient. Why would you slow down? Once you have 4 deals. My old saying was hunt 2, gather 3. I made a career off of that. I sold 3 accounts from that. Hunt 2, gather 3. I go keep hunting. Once I have my second deal, I'm not done, but I'm only gathering an easy lay down for a 3rd deal. I flipped that switch that took me to 400. Is I've got 4 on the day, I'm like on a whole new level. My chance of closing is higher now than it's been all week, all month, whatever. Why wouldn't I be sprinting door to door right now when I have the highest chance to close a deal? So you guys just need to understand, if you can sell 100 accounts, you just gotta get better at managing your time. You gotta get better at fighting the complacency and moving on to the next deal. How many of you guys in here have sold 100 accounts? Almost everyone. That's why you're here. So the amount of 300 account reps that we have next year should be insane. The 300 club slide, I want to see it like multiple columns of names. That would be so cool. Because as of a couple years ago, that was it. 300 was the pinnacle. If you can sell 300, you are a legend. And we are blasting these lids. So the top producer mindset, I think in summary, comes down to this. This is what we learned from the case study. These guys are incredibly disciplined with their time. Be more disciplined with your time. Be competitive AF. Cheyenne, you know what that means? It's American Ford. Competitive American Ford.
Air Force.
Competitive Air Force. Just be competitive, guys. Learn to be competitive. Stop losing so easy. Work all the hours. It's like almost stupid putting this on there. This is a top producer mindset training. Why are you giving me the same crap that I've heard from everyone? Because that's how important it is. The fact that it's on there, 5 bullet points is huge. They all exceeded their own goals to become top producers. Figure out what your goal is, break it down, be obsessed with hitting it, bank it up. You'll find that your averages are higher than you'll be in July doing math like Alec, being like, holy smokes, my goal? I need 50 more and I have 2 more months to do it. Let's go. And they all sold 100 before selling 300. True fact. Can't debate me on that one. Dang it. That's true. But he did. He sold 100 before 300, did he not? Like, he had a pass. Yeah, you can't just skip. Ha! I won the debate. question that is not what is your pitch. Does anyone want to like ask this little panel of dudes? We got a question here.
What's your goal for this next year?
What's your goal? My goal is 8,000 accounts. I'm setting a region goal, so I don't have a personal sales goal. What's yours?
So
Is that
my
what
goal-
you're asking?
Yeah.
Personal sales?
What's your personal goal? And I don't know your position. But
So my personal goal is to just beat this past year, whatever that is, just beat it, and then kind of like for an office, I wanna branch off 2 offices next year. So run my own office after this next year, run my own office, and then have 2 other offices.
Well, for me, obviously beat this last year, and manage 1,500 accounts.
You don't want to try and beat Caden?
He pointed at Caden, but they just said this.
I think he went like this as in his last year. I think if he actually sets that as a goal, I think he should like call him out and say his name and make it stick.
I have the same goal 3 men should be the year before. Always the same.
well, I hope y'all ready. 'Cause I'm gonna beat all y'all.
Do you have time for one or two more?
One question.
One more question, make it a good one. All right, my man.
Alright, one question. What are you gonna do in the next, I'd say, starting October, next 2 months, to set you up in this off season? What are you gonna be doing? What are your non-negotiables for the next like 2 months?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm gonna just enjoy myself this next month, just relax. After this next month, then it's grind time, it's recruiting, and you know all that stuff you already know. But yeah, this next month I'm not working, I'm enjoying myself. That's what just a great thing about this job.
I'd say preseason trips, 100%. Getting ready for those, getting the guys that I recruit on those. But preseason trips last year is what set me up for the success that I had just this last summer. So it's preseason trips all the way. And that goes for each and every one of us. Same.
Cool. That's it.
I think you just heard from the best in the company just now. So now that's incredible what these guys have done. Okay, so we're going to shift the schedule just a little bit because of time, which is my fault, not anybody else's with the local media stuff. But Kate's gonna still come up and do his training next. Matt, we're gonna move yours to tomorrow morning, and then I'll do mine tomorrow morning before we break off. Braun, where are you at? So people have region stuff. Are we gonna be? We're probably not gonna be able to do that other thing at 4:30. Well, obviously we're not gonna be at 4:30, but 5 o'clock we can't do it, right? Because people have the activities. What did she say?
So how long is Kate? I don't know the times with Kate.
We'll send a text out
Okay.
to the area directors. We'll send you a text. But Kay, Randall, do not in any way rush what you're doing. You take all night if you have to. But we are going to take a little break. We're going to come back in here so we're energized. We only have time to take about a 5-minute break. So please be back in here in 5 minutes, ready